Thanks. Hey, Michael. Hey, thanks for taking time today.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Yeah. And of course, I'm Nathan Hill with Afterburn Soccer. We, of course, follow FC Dallas and North Texas and have our weekly show. So we'll probably use some of this there on the site and everything. And of course, been a lot of curiosity about you and your performances this year and things. So let's just get right into it. Kind of where things are now. North Texas, you all have the best record, most points in MLS Next Pro at this point in the season. 2 games left, one more result, and you all can lock down the Shield. Essentially, the best record in the league this year. What's the locker room feeling like right now with those 2 matches left, and then of course playoffs?
No, I think teams all it's on the same page, so we're all feeling really good about kind of clinching the Western, but we still have a lot to push for with kind of the opportunity to be able to play a final at home and as well as kind of use these games to kind of get into stride going into playoffs and kind of getting as close to perfect as we can.
I mean, you've had a standout season this year, first year with North Texas. What, just as you've acclimated to the team, to the organization in a new way, I know you have roots here, but what makes this team special? What's made it such a strong year for North Texas?
I think it's we obviously have a lot of great players, right? We have a lot of guys up top taking care of business in the midfield and back helping me as well. But I think just the group's really tight, kind of between us and the coaching staff as well, and we're all kind of like a lot of other MLS Next Pro teams, we're super tight with kind of the first team and the staff, and we have a lot of rotations with those players. But I think just kind of the ability that we have to adapt and kind of work with what we've got and find ways to win in kind of every situation we're put in. I think that's something that's huge from us.
What do you feel like has been key for you for your success like this year? I mean, how would you kind of rate your performances overall with North Texas this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've done all right. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of help from the back line and those 3 to 5 guys in front of me as well. But I think it's just kind of trying to focus on the simple stuff for me and just not overcomplicate anything and helping kind of keep my head clear, but also help the guys in front of me as much as I can in terms of communication, organization, all that.
Do you sort of model yourself after like a particular goalkeeper that you sort of follow or watch growing up that, you know, I know there's different kinds of goalkeepers, some who are more vocal than others, things like that. Do you have anyone in mind?
So there's 3 that are kind of like my top 3 favorite goalkeepers ever. So I have Neuer for obvious reasons, and I think I've tried to take a little bit of his kind of sweeper keeper style, playing high and being able to help with balls in behind that style. I think Buffon is one of my other favorites, just kind of the passion and leadership and class that he brings to the game and has brought for so long. And then Casillas as well, just looking at it from kind of more of a physical aspect, as well as, I mean, he is one of the best keepers in the world, if not all time. And he wasn't a Courtois 6'6" or anything like that. He just kind of found ways to get around that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you're a Plano native. You know, you spent time in the FC Dallas Academy. How long has soccer been a part of your life?
As long as I can remember. I mean, I started playing when I was 4 or 5 maybe. And then I think I jumped into actually playing goalkeeper when I was 7.
Wow.
So
you played goalkeeper, because that's one of the questions I was going to ask. Is like, did you play other positions or did you kind of settle on goalkeeping early?
I played in the field before we had goalkeepers, but as soon as there was one, I decided to go in and just haven't looked back since.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
I played football, baseball. That's a little bit of basketball. Basketball is not my sport, but
yeah. But soccer really became your sport. Yeah.
I like to think so.
Now, was it always a dream to play professionally? I mean, was there a moment when like that started to crystallize? Like maybe I can go further with this?
No, I mean, it was always every kid's dream is to play, right? And especially growing up in the academy here, that's what they try to do. They develop players to go pro, and so that was even from before, but especially since coming into the program when I was 12 or 13, whatever that was, that was the goal.
What was your experience like in the academy? I mean, how did you said they had sort of put that kind of dream in front of you all, but yeah, how did they help you prepare to be a professional?
I think a lot of it was we had a lot of good coaching and just having a bunch of different coaches as well, kind of as you progress up through age groups. But then I think a big part is the proximity, and they keep you close with the first team and second teams and everything. And it's like we're next door to the academy locker rooms and across the hall from the first team locker room. And I think that's just, if we want to go watch first team training, we can pop out there. And even I know Drew, the first team goalkeeper coach, gets us and academy goalkeepers into his trainings whenever he can, just to kind of get that feeling, get that passion, get that mindset that they want everybody to have coming into the first and second teams started at an early age.
And I guess they really, push you competitively, right? With you're always playing either up or, with other kids that can really push you, other players that maybe even are stronger physically. I mean, did that help in some ways as you try to develop?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously it's playing in age groups as you're younger is different than professionally because there's no age limit. So you could be, and as we see nowadays, we have 16, 17, 18-year-olds playing against guys who've been in the league for 20 years. So it's something that I think young players need to learn how to do. And it can only really help their game as being faster, thinking ahead, faster, being stronger, stuff like that.
Well, when you finished up high school, you got, of course, recruited to Columbia, which is Ivy League school, a very prestigious school. You had 4 great years there. I mean, was that something that you had planned to do? Did you have a lot of conversations at that time? I figured that's a real crucial time coming out of the academy. Like, hey, do I try to, try out, go, get a professional contract? Do I take this college path? Some players decide different things. Was that an easy decision for you? Was college always kind of in your plans as the next step?
I think so. I think it's definitely easier to make that decision as a goalkeeper because obviously you can play a lot longer than kind of when you're a field player. Once you get to your mid-30s or around there, your career can kind of start to dwindle off. But I mean, you've seen goalkeepers play around 40, early 40, stuff like that. So I think part of it was just being able to get games in and get experience. And I think a lot of times is if you sign super young, there's not that I'm saying that it's impossible, but it's a lot harder to just kind of come in and get minutes and stuff. And I think that's something that, especially as a goalkeeper, you need to be in games. You need to see those situations and be able to use those opportunities to kind of learn from it. Because as much as we try to replicate it in training, it's just, you can't do it without just playing games,
Yeah. What did you graduate? What degree at Columbia?
I just did Bachelor of Arts.
Okay.
It was I was there to play ball, but
yeah, okay.
Side part.
Well, it's my daughter's dream school. I mean, she wants to live in New York City and do all that, but I'm like, well, good luck. It's so hard to get into. So
that is,
yeah,
that's the hardest part. Hardest part is getting in.
Yeah. Well, coming out of Columbia, North Texas signed you for the season. How did that conversation unfold? Was it something that they were always in contact with you during your college seasons? Were they kind of scouting you, keeping tabs? Did you have other teams interested in you?
No, I was obviously super close with the program growing up with it, and I would even like during summers come back and train with North Texas and the first team and just have kind of opportunities to do that, and they would always be open to it, whether it's coming back with North Texas trainings or back with the academy and just kind of being in and getting reps and being around everybody. So it was, and I started talking to John Gall when he was interim head coach, kind of moving in towards the season. They were looking for players, so started talking then, and then he got the gig, and we got it all sorted with Matt and all that. But no, it was obviously very much enjoyed coming back to the program and being back home and with all the coach and everything that I've grown up with, and getting to do as much as we can and hopefully bring a trophy back home to the club as well.
Well, what was evident as you made the jump from Columbia to North Texas? Was there an immediate change in quality against the kind of players and the competition?
Yeah, I think the quality was a jump, but I think the biggest jump was probably just the mentality and the mindset of everything. Because obviously, as everybody knows, a lot of people go to college to play professional. A lot of people just kind of go to play and use it as a way to something fun to do, something to get in, stuff like that. But I think it's kind of the environment's very different coming from there. Is obviously it's a highly academic, highly intellectual school that a lot of people's primary focus is degree, as you would expect.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the mentality of we're coming here. It's competitive. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to go to the next level, take the next step. And then obviously there's the quality difference is just going from a collegiate to professional as well. See to play all that.
And I mean, I appreciate you bringing that because I think that is one of the things that even folks on the outside um, don't understand about the switch even from the college level is that high school to college, but like it's your full-time job now once you become professional, right? And so you have to really love the sport. You really have to love what you do to be able to persevere in it. So how do you deal with that grind week in and week out to kind of stay motivated and focused, but also not to lose the joy of playing this sport?
Yeah, no, I think obviously it's not the most difficult thing to do because I've loved to do it since as long as I can remember. But I think part of it's just obviously remembering to enjoy the moments and have fun, even just like out in training sessions. Obviously, there's moments when people are going to be frustrated, unhappy, and stuff like that. But I think it's just kind of being grateful for what you have and remembering that this is a game that we play for fun and we're lucky enough to get paid to do it.
Yeah. Well, North Texas, you mentioned before, has an incredibly talented squad. Guys like Pedrinho, Enes Ali, Nico Gordon, Tariq Scott, to just name a few. I mean, uh, is it intimidating to go up against those guys in practice some weeks when we see what they can do in that 90 plus minutes on a Saturday or Sunday? And really, how do they push you to grow when you line up against them week in and week out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're some of the best players in the league. I think that's unanimous if you ask anybody in the club. And I think we have the best lineup in the league, and I think we've shown it in our performances and points that we put up. So there's always that competitiveness and that desire to win has to come from somewhere, right? And it comes obviously in training. We're always, even small sided games, stuff like that. Everybody wants to win, right? Nobody wants to lose. And it's just something that is kind of in everybody's DNA. And so it's like, okay, yeah, I know that we have the best top line here, but in training, I'm gonna show you guys like what I can do as well. And it's just kind of, you got to prove yourself every day, and that's part of the sport as well.
Yeah.
You have to earn your money, right? You have to prove that you can play at this level and play more. So we push each other as much as we can, and it's just super competitive, and that just helps everybody.
You mentioned Coach Gall when he took over the team at the beginning of the season. I think this one of the most interesting storylines is for North Texas is how well y'all have done in the midst of a coaching change, which is usually the reverse, right? Usually, if there's a coaching change, it means that the team isn't doing well. But in this case, John got the promotion up to the senior team, and Michelle has stepped in. It just seems like y'all have, other than a few hiccups here and there, you've just clicked. What was that like when you experienced that change this season? How did y'all handle that as a team?
No, I mean, obviously it's what everybody wants to see, right? The coaches want to see all the players move up to first team, and they want to do the same. So everybody was really happy for John, and we still see him around all the time at the stadium. So that relationship is still there. And then, I mean, you guys know Michelle was John's assistant. Yeah. It's not like anything too much changed. We kind of found out how we wanted to play and our identity, and we just kind of stuck with that and made a few changes here and there, but I think they're going all right still.
But North Texas has an option that they can trigger to keep you for another year next year. I mean, is that something you hope? And it seems like you're making a case for with your play, but what are your dreams? I think is the bigger question. Are you dreaming of competing at the next level? Do you want to get a shot with the senior team? Where would you like to be in a couple of years?
I mean, I think that's what everybody's doing on the second team, right? Is we're trying to prove ourselves to be able to play with the first team. And obviously, if that comes, we'd rather have it come sooner than later. But you've got to, like I said, you've got to prove yourself every day. So I think, I mean, in terms of contract stuff, those conversations aren't even being had. We're focused on winning the trophy, right? We're trying to put ourselves in the best spot possible, and the best thing that we can do is help the club in that way. So that's kind of where all the focus is going to, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Well, where do you think you need to improve as a player to take your game to the next level? Are there specific things that you've been working on lately?
Yeah, I mean, we're always, obviously nothing's ever perfect. I think it's just a lot of it, because a lot of goalkeeping, I'd say a high percentage of it is mental, right?
Yeah.
Decision making and everything, and it's just kind of getting those decisions correct and getting them consistent. And I think obviously consistency is the thing that we want to see the most out of a professional, right? You think of someone who has a long career, it's like, okay, they've been good for a long, long time. So it's just finding a way to kind of, like you said, see what I need to figure out in terms of getting better, and leaning on the coaching staff to help with that, and then just getting to the highest level and keeping that as long as we can.
Well, great. A couple more questions, and then I'll let you go. Really appreciate it. What would you say to academy kids who are dreaming of making this jump to North Texas and beyond? And look at your story and how you came to the academy, how you took these opportunities. What would be your message to those youngsters working their way through the academy now?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of accepting that and learning that you're never going to be given anything, right? You have to work for it. You have to take it yourself. No one's going to walk down and say, okay, here's all this, here's everything you ever wanted. It's just, the world doesn't work like that in any aspect, right? Not just professional soccer. So it's just, I mean, being as dedicated as you can, and because obviously talent's only going to get you so far. So it's working as hard as you can, taking as much as you can when you can get it.
Great. My last question is always a bit kind of different, but because people are curious. But what's your go-to taco spot?
Taco?
Yeah, if you have one.
I mean, I just eat what the ones my mom makes are great. Okay. I'm never gonna skip on mom's cooking.
All right. That's
I don't
good.
know spots though. I need some help with around here.
All right. Well, that's a good answer. All right. That'll earn your points back home. All right. Well, appreciate you so much, Michael. And we're going to be watching the next two games. Looking forward to, of course, postseason action.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Raul.
Have a good one. I'll send this over here in a bit, Nathan.
Okay. Thanks.